The story of Marie-Joseph Angélique. Early life and journey to Montreal. Marie-Joseph Angélique was born in Portugal around 1705. The exact circumstances of her early life are not well documented, but it is known that she was enslaved and brought to the Americas. The transatlantic slave trade, which forcibly relocated millions of Africans and people of African descent, including those from Portugal and its colonies, was a brutal system that subjected enslaved people to inhumane conditions. Angélique's journey across the Atlantic would have been marked by overcrowding, disease, and violence, conditions that were common in slave ships during this period. Once in the Americas, Angélique was sold and eventually ended up in Montreal, which was then part of New France. Montreal, founded in 1642, had grown into a significant trading post and settlement by the early 18th century. The economy of New France was heavily reliant on the fur trade, agriculture, and the labor of enslaved people. Angélique's arrival in Montreal would have placed her in a society where slavery was an integral part of the economy and social structure. Life in Montreal. In Montreal, Angélique was owned by François Poulin de Francheville and his wife, Therese de Couan. The de Francheville family was prominent in Montreal society, with François being a successful merchant and Therese being a member of a well-established family. Angélique worked as a domestic servant in their household, performing a variety of tasks essential to the daily operation of the home. Her duties would have included cooking, cleaning, and managing the household, among other responsibilities. Angélique's personality and behavior are described in historical accounts as fiery and strong-willed. These traits, while indicative of her resilience and spirit, may have also contributed to the tensions she experienced with her owners and others in the community. Despite the harsh realities of her enslavement, Angélique's relationship with her owners was complex, reflecting both the dependency they had on her labor and the power dynamics inherent in the slave-owner relationship. Social life and relationships. Angélique's social life was heavily influenced by her status as an enslaved person. Despite the restrictions imposed by her enslavement, Angélique likely formed connections with others in similar circumstances. The community of enslaved people and servants in Montreal would have provided Angélique with a network of support and solidarity, which was crucial for survival under the harsh conditions of slavery. One of the most significant aspects of Angélique's personal life was her romantic relationship with Claude Thibault, a white servant who worked for another family in Montreal. This relationship was forbidden under the laws and social norms of New France, which prohibited intimate relationships between enslaved people and free individuals. Despite the societal taboo surrounding their relationship, Angélique and Thibault's bond was strong enough to risk the potential consequences. The fire. On April 21, 1734, a massive fire broke out in Montreal, destroying nearly 40 buildings, including the Notre Dame Church and the Hôtel Dieu Hospital. The fire had a devastating impact on the city, causing widespread destruction and displacement. Angélique was accused of setting the fire, allegedly as an act of revenge against her owner. The accusation against Angélique was likely influenced by her relationship with Thibault and the tensions she had with her owners. There are various theories about why Angélique might have set the fire, including revenge against her owners, a desire for freedom, or wrongful accusation. Some historians argue that Angélique's actions were motivated by a desire for revenge against her owner, possibly due to harsh treatment or the threat of separation from Thibault. Others propose that the fire might have been an accident or the result of another person's actions, and Angélique was wrongly accused. Torture and trial. During her trial, Angélique was subjected to physical torture in an attempt to extract a confession. The use of torture was a common practice in legal proceedings of the time, especially in cases involving serious crimes like arson. Angélique was stretched on the rack and had her limbs beaten with iron rods. Despite the intense pain and pressure, Angélique maintained her innocence throughout the torture. The trial was marked by inconsistencies and questionable evidence, and the use of torture to extract confessions was widely criticized for its potential to produce false confessions. Despite the lack of concrete evidence linking her to the crime, Angélique was found guilty of arson. The Walk of Shame and Execution. Before her execution on June 21, 1734, Angélique was forced to undergo a public ritual known as amende honorable. This ritual was a form of public humiliation where the condemned person had to beg for forgiveness for their alleged crimes. Angélique was led from the prison to the Church of Notre Dame in Montreal, barefoot and dressed in a simple shift. Carrying a torch, she was made to declare her guilt and beg for forgiveness in front of the gathered crowd. According to some historical accounts, Angélique sang during this walk, showing remarkable resilience in the face of her impending execution. The act of singing could be interpreted in various ways, including as a form of defiance, a reflection of her spirit, or even a way to cope with the immense pressure and pain she was under. After the amende honorable, Angélique was taken to the gallows and hanged, marking the end of her life but also cementing her place in the history of Montreal and Canadian slavery. Legacy and debate. There is ongoing debate among historians about Angélique's guilt. Some argue she was wrongly accused, and the fire may have been an accident or the result of another person's actions. Others see her as a symbol of resistance against slavery and oppression. Angélique's story highlights the harsh realities of slavery in 18th-century Canada and the brutal treatment of enslaved people. Her legacy serves as a reminder of the complex and often brutal history of slavery in North America. Key dates. April 21, 1734, the fire occurred in the afternoon, around 2 to 3 p.m. June 3, 1734, Angélique's trial began. June 21, 1734, Angélique's execution took place. Further reading. For a deeper understanding of Marie-Joseph Angélique's story and its historical context, you might want to read Afua Cooper's book The Hanging of Angélique, The Untold Story of Canadian Slavery and the Burning of Old Montreal. This book provides a detailed and well-researched account of Angélique's life, the fire, and the broader context of slavery in New France.